to the SEC Unfiltered platform. I'm your host, Dave Shumate from Mach 10 Sports. I'm here to give you the ceiling and floor for the Kentucky Wildcats. The Kentucky Wildcats, let's pull it up on the screen, are the 3 seed. They're the 3 seed out in the South region. The seeds ahead of them are Houston and Marquette, an injured Marquette with Kovac out. So my ceiling here for the Wildcats, I think they're going to beat Oakland. I actually think Kentucky's a little overseeded. Call me crazy, Big Blue Nation, but I think they're a little overseeded. But I think, hey, it is what it is now. So I think they get Oakland. I think they'll beat Oakland. And they got an interesting matchup. They got an interesting matchup there in the second round with a potential matchup between the 6 seed Texas Tech Red Raiders and the NC State, the 11 seed Wolfpack, who had to win the ACC to get a bid. I think Texas Tech is an efficient team led by head coach Grant McCaslin. I think they could cause Kentucky some issues because, again, it all comes back to Kentucky, just like Alabama. Can they defend? They have all the offensive talent in the world to get it done. NC State, DJ Burns, big matchup advantage against Kentucky. It'll be interesting. If Kentucky could get ahead and outrun NC State, I think that's possible there. I like Kentucky to get past this round, but it's interesting there. It's interesting. I actually like Kentucky really in this round, second round, concerns me more than actually the Sweet 16 if they were to play Marquette or Florida here. Because, again, Florida is matched up with – who do we got down here? Oh, yeah, the play in the 10 seed playing game, Colorado, Boise State. I actually like Boise State to get Colorado there, play Florida. I actually like Florida. I don't know how much the Michael Handlegotten injury will affect them. They got depth in the front court, Tyrese Samuel and Condon, but still it'll be interesting there. Could Florida be worn down? I thought they may be worn down heading into Nashville, and they proved me wrong there. But I like Kentucky there. Ceiling, I think they win the first round, beat NC State or Texas Tech. I think they beat Marquette or Florida, which I actually feel better about that game, like I mentioned in their second round matchup against Texas Tech or NC State right there. And then in the Final Four, the Nebraska Texas A&M first round matchup. I think whoever wins that's going to give Houston some issues. I like James Madison to beat Wisconsin in this matchup. I actually think Kentucky will end up facing Duke, the old-fashioned blue blood. I think Kentucky-Duke in the Elite Eight. Give me Kentucky. I think Kentucky gets to the Final. I think that's the ceiling, Final Four. But then I think them potentially going back home and having to come back to Phoenix. Can the defense sustain? Can it be consistent? I actually have them. I think you could make a case. You could see a Tennessee-Kentucky matchup in that case in the Final Four in that first semifinal matchup. So that'll be interesting from that standpoint. So I think the ceiling, I think a lot of people agree. If Kentucky's playing well, offense isn't the issue. It's defensively. Can they get it together defensively to go play well? I mean, when's Mitchell going to come back? Is he coming back for the NCAA tournament? That's a big question too. But I think Final Four is the ceiling. Floor, I could see Kentucky going out in the second round. I told you, this matchup right here, the 6 seed, 11 seed matchup between Texas Tech and NC State, concerns me a little bit more than even the Marquette, especially with Kovac out, and the Florida potential matchup. I don't know if Florida's just run out of steam, and I think Todd Golden's done a phenomenal job this year. There's always a team that makes a deep conference tournament run that you feel good about that just kind of looks tired when they get to the first round of the NCAA tournament. I don't know why. It just kind of sticks with me a little bit for Florida. But again, I could see Kentucky losing in the second round because Texas Tech's an efficient team that if Kentucky's not playing defense, they can consistently score on Kentucky here. Texas Tech could. And NC State's coming in hot. They're coming in hot. I think they could have a matchup issue potentially. So, like I mentioned earlier, I see Kentucky outrunning them. But again, I think Kentucky's floor here would be losing in the second round matchup. It concerns me for whatever reason. And again, there's not always reason, like full-fledged on reasons to just feel in the NCAA tournament. It's about matchups. I don't know. That one just concerns me a little bit. Concerns me a little bit more than even the Sweet 16 matchup does. But again, so for Kentucky here, ceiling, Final Four, guys. I think they get past Oakland. Could definitely see them getting past Texas Tech, NC State. I like them against Florida Marquette as well. I know Florida beat Kentucky and Rupp earlier. And then I think they get their Elite Eight matchup against Duke, in my opinion, or Houston. Now, some people don't think that Houston matchup favors Kentucky. But again, like, what if Juwan Roberts gets in foul trouble? That's potential. That's potential. You always trust Houston to get to the Sweet 16. But once you get to that Elite Eight, it's all hands on deck there from that standpoint. And then I think it's Kentucky-Duke. Kentucky could definitely win that game, get to the Final Four. But then going back to the floor, I could definitely see Kentucky losing in the second round in that 6-11 matchup to either Texas Tech or NC State if they're not defending well. And if you followed Kentucky basketball at all this year, you know that is the big issue for the Wildcats and John Calipari in heading into the NCAA tournament for 2024. But that's it for this segment for the Kentucky Wildcats. John Calipari and the boys. What is the ceiling floor for Kentucky? Ceiling NCAA tournament floor, second round matchup I can see that upset against either Texas Tech or NC State. But again, I am Dave Shumate, your host, coming at you from the SEC Unfiltered platform. Like, subscribe, notifications, all SEC 365, 24/7, 365. Again, we got March Madness all week. Get fired up. Playing game start tomorrow. Second weekend of SEC baseball starting this weekend. We already had our opening weekend this past weekend. And then spring football. Missouri already had their spring game. It's everything. If you want elite, legit content, you come to us at the SEC Unfiltered platform. Again, I'm your host, Dave Shumate. You have a fantastic day.